One. Dear ladies and gentlemen, Aziz Dostlar, I suppose we can start, as everyone is here, and I'm really happy to welcome everyone here. So dear esteemed excellencies, dear friends, dear partners, so my name is Nakenti. I represent Deutsche Bahn, so German national railway company. And we are part now of Uzbek family because we are working since more than a decade in Uzbekistan. That's why we think that German national railway company Deutsche Bahn Engineering and Consulting is Uzbek company. So that's why I'm happy and glad to welcome everyone here in Tashkent and to say Khush kelibsiz. Welcome to Tashkent, welcome to Uzbekistan. For us, it's a great honor, and for me personally, it's a great responsibility to speak to such a representative audience today. And we, as Deutsche Bahn, we attend the International Investment Forum every year, but this year we have special honor to act as moderator of this very interesting, from my point of view, panel session, and I am really happy about it. So we highly appreciate the attention of the esteemed President of Uzbekistan and of the government of Uzbekistan and of European Union and Germany. This attention is paid to the sustainable development of transport infrastructure. And we will speak a lot about that, because this is an essential factor for economic growth and regional integration. Yesterday we have heard words of esteemed President of Shavkat Mirziyoyev about unified space of Central Asia. That's why this regional integration is absolutely important from our humble opinion as well. So our company, Deutsche Bahn, we operate in more than 80 countries along the world. We are engineers, so we can do, let's say, railway from alpha to omega, from start to the point, and we try to combine German technical expertise, international experience, and responsibility for the future. That's why when we speak about transport infrastructure, it is not just participation in project, but we would like to form a strategic partnership based on trust and common goals. For us, Uzbekistan is our of our key partners in Central Asia and worldwide. Very important is the geostrategic location of Republic of Uzbekistan on the crossroad of Silk Road, of Global Gateway, of Middle Corridor, of Trans-Caspian route, of North-South and East-West connections. So that's why we are absolutely happy to have such active cooperation with the ministries and departments of Uzbekistan Republic. And we have been part within this decade that we are working here in Uzbekistan on such projects like electrification, Karshi-Termez, construction of Kamchik Tunnel, and we have been part of institutional reforms. We've been part of a team together with Ministry of Transport who drafted railway law, new railway law. And now everyone knows that we have a changing global context and there are some new challenges. And we identify a number of areas among which infrastructure support and development are of high importance. And that's why we think active participation and support for the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route Development Project is absolutely important. Yesterday, we have heard esteemed President of Republic of Bulgaria speaking about that. So we have our guest from Georgia who hopefully will speak a little bit about that as well. So we from Germany, we think that this corridor, this route is of unbelievable high importance for all partners. So, and we as Deutsche Bahn, that's why, express our readiness to expand our cooperation with our Uzbek friends and deepen our friendship and common work with all interested parties. That's why thank you very much for your tolerance within my short introduction. So, and let me introduce our esteemed guest, Jasur Gashich Chiriyev, Deputy Minister of Transport of the Republic of Uzbekistan. Alexander Vahtangovich Fitsiashvili, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Georgia. Senor David Imangutse, Senior Loan Officer of European Investment Bank. Mr. Mayank Chaudhary, Director of Infrastructure Finance Division at Asian Development Bank. Mario Antonio Epsim, Director of Commercial Airplane Sales for Eurasia at Boeing. And Kadriye Baysal, Commercial Director at Aegis. So I think now we have a representation of all transportation industries. I'm a little bit say responsible for railway. We have aviation sector here. We have our esteemed banks. We have our great friends and partners from Aegis, engineers like us, and more. And we have here Deputy Minister of Transport of Republic Uzbekistan. And I would like to ask you, kindly ask you, Jasur Gashich, to tell us a couple of words about development of transport infrastructure in the recent years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Innocentii. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming for this panel session. I'm pleased to see you all today, and I think it will be very interesting discussion today, and I see that all the panelists are representing large either corporation or the bank or organizations who are actively working in Uzbekistan, directly being involved in transport. What I would like to say that once upon a time in just 2015, Uzbekistan had seen a stall on its development related to transport. If we talk about the railway, aviation, road transportation, public transportation, and so on, we have seen a stall. But starting from 2016, the full transformation of the sector and full attention by the president has changed the situation for Uzbekistan. Today, we can proudly say that in all sectors of transport, we talk about transport, first of all about the rail. Rail, we're going for the green. So whatever we're doing, whatever we're building, whatever we're planning, it's all about the green transport. So when we say about green transport, it's rail number one. So electrification, and we have a target to achieve by end of 2025. And of course, we have a strategic plan to do electrification by 2030 and reach 75%. Now we're already halfway. Then I think if we compare ourselves to our neighboring countries or even developing countries, I would say we're well ahead. And that tendency to look at every sector, every region of the economy, every region of the republic has been the key and very focal point to develop, so that unless we develop the rail transport, there cannot be economic development, sustainable development, and the growth rate that we are really enjoying. And if our economy grows, say 5.5%, unfortunately we're still below the economic growth, because we have just seen the statistics, and it's 4.4%. So we still have to do more to keep up with that growth dynamics. Second of all, as you may have heard, aviation has been a key achievement for the recent years. We have 16 resident airlines who are operating in Uzbekistan. We have 46 different foreign airlines operating into various airports of Uzbekistan. We have 11 international airports. Also, we have added 3 more domestic airports. When you see even the domestic airports, you can even qualify them, if you compare to some of the airports we see worldwide, you can even qualify them for international airports. Maybe they will grow into the international airport. We have achieved to sign PPP contracts with 4 different airports. And recent development strategy for our eastern hub or eastern gateway, which is Urgench Airport, we have successfully achieved to sign or agree for the PPP project with Incheon Airport. And you know, Incheon Airport has remarkable and outstanding characteristics in the aviation world, and they're the company which can really stimulate our traffic. They can really attract tourism, and of course, with their client base, and I believe that Urgench Airport will be a remarkable success story. Of course, we're working on the new project, which is the Tashkent, new Tashkent Airport, which will have the hub idea. And when we say about the hub, it's not about only Uzbekistan, because we are neighboring with multiple countries, and we're a double landlocked country, but aviation will probably be the key player in developing our connectivity in passenger traffic as well as cargo traffic. So, as being number 1 in 2024 in terms of growth rate, I think it was 38%. My colleagues will probably confirm my digits. So that is a remarkable growth rate that we have achieved. And in all respect, of course, we were really behind in updating, modernizing our roads. Today, thanks to the multiple international corporations, multiple contractors, and especially the banks who are coming and openly working with us and supporting to achieve those very hard to achieve targets, because the whole country needs modernization, and there are so many projects that we are working with the banks, AAB, European banks, Asian Development Bank, infrastructure banks, European banks, and so on. They have been key player in achieving our targets. So we see that for the next 5 years, even by 2030, Tashkent and the other regions will see a full transformation, full updation of its infrastructure, and that will of course create new jobs, new opportunities, and of course it will help not only our economies to grow, but also the regional growth. Because if we just stay and don't develop and don't support, of course, our neighbors and create the opportunity to speak in one language and one platform, and of course, digitalization is the success pattern that we have to pay specific attention to. But I believe, and I'm sure that by 2030, we will have a new shape of Uzbekistan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rasur Kashish Katarahmat. And now, good job to you, Alexander Vakhtangovich. Us, as Deutsche Bahn, as we are Georgian company as well, we are from Sakartvelo, and we are doing a lot of projects there as well. So we are glad and happy to see and welcome you at our session, and we are closely following the progress and active position of your country in the development of our left transport corridor, and we particularly appreciate the bilateral efforts within the framework of regional initiatives. May I kindly ask you to tell us a little bit about such development, please?
Thank you, Kamar Jobat. Salam alaikum to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for invitation. I would like to thank also the Uzbek government, which organized such a great event. Yesterday we were at the opening session, and I really appreciate this opportunity to be here and to participate and to listen all this and get all this information from different parts. From our side, from Georgia side, what we have to say and can say about the Silk Road and the transportation and so on and so on. You know, to have the good transit road and the transportation corridor, you need to have the several issues like stability in the region and the country, of course the legal framework to work, infrastructure, which mostly needed for such kind of projects, and of course the good relations with the neighboring countries and with the partner countries. With regard to the peace and stability, you know, beside that we have still occupied 2 our regions. We are keen and committed to solve our problem only with peaceful way, only with the way of the negotiations and diplomacy. And of course we are trying to do the same with the regional countries. We're working with our neighbors to maintain the peace and stability, and we managed to maintain peace and stability. And because of this stability, we had the quite good development with regard to the economic development. Last 10 years, we have up to 10% of GDP growth, and of course, it's giving the country and the government opportunity to develop the several sectors, including the transportation sector and the infrastructure. With regard to the legal framework, you know, we are striving to become the member of the European Union, and of course, we become the associate member of the European Union in 2014. We signed the agreement. In 2023, we received the candidate status, which means we're doing an associate agenda, which means we're harmonizing our legislation with the Europeans, and it means that it will be the stable and predictable legislation. Plus, we are the member of the several organizations, and of course, we are putting all necessary changes because of our membership of these organizations, and of course the bilateral agreements. We have all the necessary bilateral agreements with all our partners and neighbors. With regard to the infrastructure, I would like to say we've always been the part of the ancient Silk Road since the centuries before. We were the part of this trade road, and since the regaining the independence, we decided to somehow rebuild this position, regain this position. In 2014, after the initiative of the Chinese president to have this Belt and Road initiative, we decided to revitalize somehow the ancient Silk Road, and of course we strongly support this idea, and decided to have all kind of infrastructure which will be needed for this kind of trade road in place. And of course, we start this development. With regard to the good relations with our partners, with our immediate neighbors and the regional partners, we have strategic partnership with our neighbors, Turkey and Azerbaijan, because we realize that we cannot do alone this project. And of course, if you have strong and strategic partnership, you can reach very high goals. We have excellent relations with the Central Asian countries. We are like a gateway for the Central Asian countries. For the 9 countries, we are the 9 landlocked countries. We are the gateway for the European and the global market, and we're happy to work with them, and we're happy to provide our infrastructure to them, to their companies. So we have everything on place. With regard to the Silk Road itself, as you know, we are heavily investing in infrastructure, all kind of infrastructure, highway, secondary roads, railway, seaports, airports. We already modernized our railroad, up to 80% already done. In upcoming years, we're finishing our work with regard to the railways. It will give us the opportunity for cargo to pass Georgia in much faster and effective way. We are developing the highway connecting east and west part of Georgia, connecting the Azerbaijan with the Turkey and our Georgian seaports. 75% of the highway already done, and till the end of 2026 we will finish all this infrastructure, which will give opportunity to Georgia and to our partner countries to serve the 4 times more cargo. and the trucks as we are doing now. We are developing the air connection with our partners. We have 3 airports at the moment: Tbilisi, Batumi, and Kutaisi airports. We have very good talks and very good work with our partners to have the air cargo transportation, because we see big opportunities in that because of the e-commerce, and now it's going crazy. You know, everybody buying online, they're not going to the shops anymore, and the cargo flow through Georgia increasing month by month, and that's why we decided to build some new airports. In Tbilisi, we decided to build a new Tbilisi airport, and to leave all the airport just for cargo operations. With regard to the seaports, we have already 2 seaports. Actually, it's 4, but 2 of them, they're serving the oil transportation from the Caspian region to the Turkey and the European countries. With regard to the cargo flow, we have 2 seaports, Batumi and Poti Port. We are trying to modernize to serve much more cargo, but we're going to build a new deep sea port, Anaklia, which will be able to receive. It will be it will be the deep port, and will be receive the Panamax big ships, which will give the opportunity to serve much more cargo. So we are putting a huge amount of energy and the resources to develop the infrastructure. Plus, it's a hard infrastructure. We also work for the soft infrastructure. We're working with our neighbors, we're working with our partners to digitalize this project and digitalize and exchange of the information in a much faster way, much effective way, which will give the opportunity to the companies to transport the cargo from European side to the Asian side, and from vice versa from Asian to in much effective way. And we have very good cooperation with all our partner countries. So attention to the middle corridor, as we are saying, it's a Trans-Caspian road, increasing day by day, not because we have such tensions in the region between Russia and Ukraine, Iran and United States, in Syria, in Israel. There are lots of the problems. The Houthis are themselves are interrupting these trade routes, but because the Central Asian countries are developing very fast, and they're producing more and more products, and you need to transport these products to the global market. And of course, each road and each corridor has the limitations everywhere, and everybody looking for the new and effective one. And we are trying to be the successful and useful part of this society, and the useful partner for all our neighbors and to all our other countries, starting from China, ending with the United States. We're the second largest hub for the secondary cars export from the United States. We're a hub for the Latin American countries to export the products from Latin American countries to the Asian market. We're a hub for the Asian countries to export the products to the European market. So this is in short what we are doing in our country. We are participating in lots of the projects like Traseca, like a Lapis Lazuli, like a Caspian Sea Black Sea corridor, like a Trans-Caspian corridor, Middle corridor, Persian Gulf, Black Sea corridor. So there are lots of the projects, and we hope that in the few years there will be more opportunities through our region, which will give the quite big development, not just our region, but also the Central Asian countries too. Black Sea and the Caspian Sea region in total. So this is, in short, what I can say about our country and our region. And of course, later, if there will be some additional questions, I'm ready to reply to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alexander Akhtanovich. Diti Madlov. I think right now, let us ask after such great information about governmental support from Uzbek side, from Georgian side, from side of the European Union and other partner countries, let us speak with our friends from banking sector. Dear Davide, first of all, let me express my gratitude for participation of EIB in our session. We are German company and European company. That's why we are following the activities of EIB in Central Asia with great interest. We know that in April of this year in Samarkand, this first and absolutely great European Union Central Asia Summit was held. And we know that within the summit, 4 memorandums of understanding were signed with EIB. And we are speaking about investments in sustainable infrastructure, in water resources management, and climate projects. And there is an agreement reached as far as we have heard on the location of the EIB regional office in Uzbekistan. And from my personal humble opinion, we think that's absolutely important and needed step, and it demonstrates the seriousness of intentions in the region. And we hope that we all together will be part of the development of this route to a corridor of friendship, as yesterday it was said by the head of state of Bulgaria. I think it's absolutely great. We can call this route with different names, but corridor on friendship and prosperity for everyone, it's absolutely a great name. So that's why I would like to ask you, so how is EIB adapting its investment approach in Uzbekistan to ensure that such transport infrastructure development projects contribute to both climate goals and regional integration?
Thank you. Thank you for the floor and for having us here. It's our pleasure to be in this amazing forum. And in fact, I would like also to say sincere thank you to the MIIT for organizing such an interesting event and with very interesting panels. So just a few words for European Investment Bank, which is the financial arm of European Union. We have 27 shareholders, among which, of course, Germany and all the other states of European Union. And we work in straight cooperation with European Commission. So in Central Asia, European Commission and the European Investment Bank has 4 main objectives. The first one is regarding energy, environment and water. The second is regarding the Trans-Caspian corridor. The third is about digital connectivity, and the fourth one is about critical raw material. So exactly on this path, we were very happy to be in Samarkand and sign the host country agreement. We believe that the physical presence in Central Asia will help us to boost our activities here. Nevertheless, we have been already working in the region for more than 10 years, and we want to step up the cooperation. We're very happy for the various memorandum of understanding that we signed during the last year and a half, and now we are moving forward into transforming the memoranda into actual projects. So we have already had a very extensive and positive cooperation with Minister on Transport, and we spent almost 1 year to really go through the various possibilities and to see what was the best corner to enter the market. Now after this thorough process, we have been focusing on mainly road development and road projects. In particularly, we are now starting to work on the due diligence of A380 in Nukus. So the objective of European Investment Bank is to invest into sustainable infrastructure. We are here to help with long-term maturity, and we would like to build a partnership. We know Uzbekistan is the center of Central Asia. It's the heart of the whole Eurasian region. So it's fundamental to develop the infrastructure sector. Even more so when we think that a landlocked country has no direct access to the sea. It's more important to develop all the other ways, either rails, roads, or aviation. So it's really a privilege to stay here with all esteemed colleagues that can talk about the various sectors. Talking about roads, which is the part that we're focusing at the moment, the idea is to invest our time and to cooperate with the government on projects that are already ongoing, and we focus on bottlenecks. So in particularly in Nukus, where we are trying to finish this highway, we would like to reduce the traffic that could also curb emission through better roads, but also we would like to reduce time of passing through the city so that we can reach in a faster way the Caspian Sea. This is only one example. The memorandum we signed with Uzbekistan was for 500 million. We're thinking about 120 million for this project, so we have a lot of more margin. I believe once we start, we have a lot of opportunity and we can have a better time to market. I'm sure the local presence will help us in connect with local authorities and to have an even faster delivery. Thank you very much for your attention.
Mille grazie. Dear Davide, I would like to ask you another question. Now we have been speaking about Uzbekistan, but we need support of every regional player alongside this corridor, this route. And so my question would be, given the increasing importance of regional value chain, how is the EIB working with local and international partners to mobilize financing for cross-border infrastructure investments in Central Asian region?
Thank you. This is also a very interesting question. In fact, European Investment Bank, if we think about how it was born more than 65 years ago in 1958, it started to develop cross-border projects inside the European Union, where, for instance, we have been active into large infrastructure projects that were not able to be financed by only one state. Between Italy and France, Italy and Austria, for example, there have been multiple projects in the energy sector, in the distribution of electricity, in the energy production, but also, of course, in transports. If we think about tunnels between the Alps, what we would like to do here is not only to develop infrastructure on the national base, but to have a wider regional perspective. The value added is to bring more than 400 engineers that are active in various sectors, whether it is irrigation or road rehabilitation or railway electrification. We have an expert that has been working on the same project somewhere else in the world, whether it is Austria, Spain or Uganda, and we want to bring this know-how to the region. Not only this, we are very proud in Europe for the cooperation approach that we have together in the development banking. So European Investment Bank is the European financial arm of the Commission, but we are very happy also to cooperate with other IFIs, either ADB here with us in the panel, or AFD that I can sit among the public, or Cassa Depositi e Prestiti. So the idea of European Investment Bank is to have a coordinated approach with the same objective, which is develop sustainable finance in transport in a long partnership, not only through a very long-term banking perspective, but with a really coordinated approach and express the maximum of knowledge to give a very strong value added to Uzbekistan, but also to the broader region. I hope I gave you a perspective on this.
Thank you very much. And now let us proceed to our next esteemed guest, to dear Mr. Chaudhary. Welcome to the forum. For us, it's a great honor to work with Asian Development Bank worldwide and on such key projects like electrification of Bukhara, Mizken, Urgench, Khiva, with further extension to the city of Nukus. And our company, we are part of this project as well with our Uzbek friends and Asian Development Bank and Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. We are doing so technical supervision of the project. That's why for me it's a personal honor to greet here Mr. Chaudhary from Asian Development Bank. And we know that this project is not only one in the field of railway development in Uzbekistan, and ADB is since a lot of years a reliable partner for our Uzbek friends and hosts. That's why I would like to ask you what are future plans and intention in the development of the railway sector of Uzbekistan, Mr. Chaudhary.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for giving us the opportunity to be present on this very important panel at a very important event, annual event. Now, I actually specifically feel privileged to represent ADB in this discussion because I am part of the private sector operations department of ADB. About 2 years back or so, ADB actually and this conversation has been going on in all the MDB worlds, that sovereign lending or governments alone cannot actually solve or provide for the trillions of dollars of investments which are needed in the infrastructure sector across the world, and specifically in our countries. And therefore, we need to mobilize private capital, private sector, by energizing it, by working with governments to create enabling environments and de-risking opportunities. And therefore, it is so much topical that I am sitting on this panel, which is kind of where I will talk about most of the work which has been done by our sovereign lending side, but going forward, we see a lot more private activity. So just going back, ADB is actually the coordinator or the organizer of what we call the CaEX program, which is the Central Asian Regional Economic Cooperation, which started out with 6 Central Asian countries, but it's now expanded to 11 countries with all and a group of development partners, including several MDBs. Now, this Silk Road journey is actually connecting or bridging the East and West is such a nice and very strong historical connotations. And what better way to connect regions for shared prosperity than actually work on a program which spans this historical corridor, which was primarily kind of a trade corridor for physical transportation of people. But it has got so many more advantages today. Today we are talking about not just transportation, which is obviously remains a very important and the central piece of this corridor, but it is expanded much beyond that to become a kind of an economic corridor for shared, connecting markets to people to people. We imagine a multimodal corridor spanning roadways, railways, ports, airports, but also energy corridors, moving energy seamlessly across this region, and digital corridor, which includes a connection of data centers and fiber optic cables. Now, if I give you some numbers, since 2001, CaEX program has kind of invested in about $52 odd billion of projects across these countries. ADB is the largest amongst them, investing more than $18 billion. Primarily, about 50 to 60% of that is in transportation, but about 30-35% in energy as well. And then in transportation, while investing in hard infrastructure, it is also important to invest in trade facilitation, digitization, single window clearances, so that goods can actually move seamlessly. So that has also been the focus to create opportunities for faster custom clearances, border checkposts, facilitation, so onwards from that. Now, in Uzbekistan itself, which, as mentioned previously, is a center of this corridor, it has got the largest chunk of investments. It's about $12+ billion, out of which ADB has invested more than $3 billion in, again, road and rail infrastructure. Focus now, since you are specifically asked about railways, is on digitization. So there is a lot of work which ADB is doing right now in Uzbekistan through the southern side on digitization of the railways network. But going forward, because investment needs are huge, from the private sector operation side, which is us, we see a lot of opportunities to replicate the success of energy sector, which we MDBs have played a key role in the country here, to transform the energy sector. We see the same role of MDBs to transform the transportation and other connectivity sectors by way of our interventions through PPP models, supporting entry of new large global players and under strong bankable structures. And the opportunities are in aviation, in transportation, both roads and railways, and other related activities. If I give you some examples of what we have done in this space, We are, of course, reasonably strong in transportation in across the region in the Asia Pacific. But we have worked with the Georgian Railways actually a few years back in helping Georgian Railways access green bonds of $500 million, working with them to upgrade the rolling stock, improving decarbonization efforts to reduce carbon dioxide emissions from their operations, and as well as reducing the time it takes, so basically improving the average speed of the trains. So that's one example. The other examples could be we are working on in several countries on decarbonization of transportation, which is primarily electrification of road transportation, so by way of buses, making them electric, or personal vehicles, and also shifting railways from hydrocarbon-based traction to electric traction. I'll stop here. I could go on and on. There is a lot to talk about, but I'll stop here so that others can also get a chance to speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think, I'm sorry for this, let's say, railway topic, but you know, once railway, always railway. But now let's move into the sky from the rail. Dear Mario, welcome to the forum. We are grateful to Boeing for active cooperation of your company in programs for the development of the aviation industry in Uzbekistan and Central Asia. And and we are looking forward.
So, thank you. How are you?
Great, thank you very much.
I'm waiting for my presentation. I have some slides. I think it summarizes what have been said so far. You'll see that there is a success in this country in aviation. So I confirm what my dear friend Deputy Minister Jasurbek has just stated. I'm sorry, I see that there are some formatting issue, but we'll keep going. So, last year in 2024, Uzbekistan has celebrated a century in aviation with the first flight and also the creation of the DNA of the aviation technical capabilities. And we are very proud to be the partner of Uzbekistan Airways with our Dreamliner that has enabled Central Asia to be connected to the North American most important market, JFK, directly. And we see the success with the growing of frequencies during the last years to New York. Yesterday, so I'm very honored to be a participant this year as well, but with a bigger delegation. Unfortunately, our president of Boeing Global left this morning, early morning, but he was here. We paid a visit to the president, of course, but also to Chairman Hudaykulov, chairman of Uzbekistan Airways, and we presented a gift of our 100th anniversary book, which we celebrated almost 10 years ago. But so it's 2 centuries old, 1 century old companies talking to each other, which is really good. So we're talking about success. I have very nice slides, but I think, okay, here. The Silk Road. So what I want you to concentrate here is that during the 80s, 90s, the epicenter of aviation was more in the Western Hemisphere. It's shifting into Asia Pacific. This is the region that will generate growth, value, and economic prosperity. And Central Asia, and especially Uzbekistan, is neighboring this new potential. There are 4 billion people around these 80 million 5 countries. Can you imagine that? So with the right airport in Tashkent, a bigger airport, our friends, Uzbekistan Airways and others, can do a lot of business, inshallah. So I think it's either me, yeah, so it's... Sorry for that. So look, Uzbekistan is uniquely positioned to connect the world. It's in the middle of almost 80% of the world population. If you look at Europe, the North, Asia, the Indian subcontinent, the Middle East, and even North Africa. This is very important. So with the right strategy, the airlines here can do a lot, and they are working in this direction. No need to say about the growth. This is the country that has the highest population in the region. Still second in aviation, but it's coming to become, I think, a leader. And there is a GDP immense growth that keeps going. You know, Deputy Minister was saying that they are a bit lower than what is expected, but I believe the trend is very positive. And we're expecting to see 120 million of passengers around 2034. So imagine the growth that is expecting this beautiful country. And aviation is really important because it has an impact on the economy, right? When you have an airplane, you need the operation, you need the airport, you need the food, you need the hotels, you need everything. Imagine all the spillover to the entire economy. So this is very important for Uzbekistan and the entire region to continue to invest in aviation with the partners here in this room, and us as well. I love this picture because it provides you the beauty that this country can do, but also how important it is to invest in tourism and travel industry, which generates, according to the analysis, around 10% of the global GDP. So Uzbekistan has Khiva, Bukhara, Samarkand, all these beauties of the ancient Silk Road that would attract more and more passengers, international visitors. And your move to invest in Urgench Airport is a very wise move, because Khiva is another beauty that you need to attract more people without going for perhaps via Tashkent, so directly there. So congratulations. I have a very interesting map that I'm going to show you. This is how the visa-free regime accelerated and grew the demand. Look at the map. All those green countries are the ones that there are no visa requirement anymore in Uzbekistan. And this stimulates immediately the demand. So people can decide on a weekend, on a Thursday evening, to come to Uzbekistan for a weekend, to taste the food, to see Samarkand, and go back. And this is thanks to a visa-free regime policy, which we applaud, definitely. A very interesting data. Intentionally, I left August 2024 because the month of August for aviation is a key month that gives you a key metrics, right? So this shows the growth within Europe. It's a data published by Airport Council International. It shows the growth compared to 2019, which was the successful year of aviation before COVID, unfortunately, right? And look at Uzbekistan. They are second in terms of growth after Albania, another interesting country. I'm very curious to see, Deputy Minister, what will be the data in August 2025. And we'll come back in this venue or another to see what's the difference. But I expect the trend continues. And the Deputy Minister talked about investments in airports. You saw the Samarkand airport, very beautiful. It helps a lot to develop the demand. So we see growth. Those are the international seat capacity growth that we analyzed, breakdown by domestic and international. It keeps supporting whatever was said in this panel so far. Another interesting thing is we sell airplanes, we produce narrow bodies, wide bodies, and freighters, and we see that the demand comes from more the hinterland, right? And so the narrow body move was very wise, and this is how the growth came. But then there will be, of course, with the new airport, you will need to reach out to long-haul places. People who never knew about Uzbekistan before should come from North America, Latin America, Australia, and you need long-haul. So a good trend that we are seeing, seats added by newcomers into the Uzbek aviation market, but also new startups in the Uzbek aviation market, local market. One thing we are very proud is that the Dreamliner has connected New York to Central Asia. I'm saying Central Asia because there is a direct flight to Tashkent, but there are connecting passengers to the other capitals in the region. And we hope to see the trend goes up, continues, with more and more frequencies deployed by Uzbekistan Airways into North America. You'll see a nice airplane there. I love this slide. It shows the success of Uzbekistan Airways with our product. We are proud. And this is a bit the data. You can see how a direct flight has stimulated the demand between New York and Central Asia. Before 2016, they used to do a stop in Europe to go to the US. With the Dreamliner, they were able to launch the direct flight, and it goes growing. We see the data from so many sources. The trend goes up, which we are very happy to see that. We're talking about a new airport. A new airport is made to connect. We talked about connectivity. The North American market is very important for aviation. It's a very lucrative market. And this part of the world has a lot of demand to North America, and Tashkent is very well positioned to be able to connect that demand. Hopefully soon with a new airport and many more airplanes flying over the Uzbek sky. We talk about passengers. Deputy Minister was mentioning a lot about cargo. This is another interesting chart that says everything. Uzbekistan, Central Asia, and even the Caucasus, they are positioned around a region that generates 70% of the global economic development. So you need, and with e-commerce coming into the scene and growing daily, you need air freighters in the region that will connect immediately the demand. So when I order something from Uzbekistan in Istanbul, I need something that arrives immediately in the next day. So it's very important also to invest into cargo capability. This is based on our cargo market outlook. We see that the East Asia, Europe trade lane will grow for the next 20 years with a rate of 5.3%, and Uzbekistan, Central Asia is located in between. So it's a very good hub, and they already have Navoy as an airport that has all the infrastructure. So very well positioned to go to the future. Why air cargo is important? This is very interesting metric. Among the whole world tonnage carried via air, okay, so if you imagine the world trade tonnage carried in the world, only 1% is carried by the air, but the dollar value is 35%. So very important and valuable goods are carried by air freight, and this is why you need to invest into air cargo capability. And we see this country, besides Uzbekistan Airways Cargo, has some other private airlines coming into the scene with our airplanes, which is another important element. World cargo, air cargo is resilient like the passenger demand. You see ups and downs, but the trend goes up, which is really good. And we have long-term drivers of air cargo growth that are evolving supply chain strategies. So the moves that the big players are changing suppliers. Time-sensitive and high-value cargo. This is why the dollar value is high when you carry things by air. E-commerce grow and the value relative to container shipping. So the e-commerce data is very interesting in this region as well, but the global e-commerce sales will grow to roughly $8 trillion by 2026, which is an increase of almost 30% compared to 2030. But the more interesting stuff, we did a small analysis for Uzbekistan, and if I get the slide, So this is Central Asia. We expect a 33% growth per year in Central Asia, but Uzbekistan, we have done our own analysis with the data that is available for us, and we see that if it comes today, the global retail e-commerce share is around 3 to 5%. We expect this to grow to more than 10% in 2027. What does that mean? It means you need more cargo airplanes that will fly to major hubs, definitely. And to finish, you can see how immediately things can change in this country. I come here every 2 weeks, and in a couple of months I saw that the Tashkent airport currently changed the facade, and it's beautiful. So Rahmat, I'm very pleased to be here.
Today we also expanded the Tashkent airport terminal, if you have seen the news. No, so on the left side you see the new facility, new terminal. Yeah. You will see.
Yeah, it will be more place for new aircrafts, dear Mario. Thank you very much for deep dive. It was a great pleasure to get such a great understanding for development, and again 150% plus in number of passengers. It's great number. It's unbelievable. So, dear Kadriye, günaydın and hoş geldiniz to Tashkent, to the Tashkent International Investment Forum. For us, as for Deutsche Bahn, as we work with Aegis, with our dear colleagues since years together worldwide, and we know about your company's work pretty well. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about your work and plans in Uzbekistan particularly, and in Central Asian region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the organization of this great forum and the panel indeed. I will start with maybe a brief. No. Okay. I will start with a brief introduction to Aegis. I know that Aegis is well known, but again, it's just this slide is to show you how wide are the Aegis field of activities, especially in engineering services. We are the first French engineering company in France. And the seventh in the total market, transportation market. Our main areas of engineering services is of course road, rail, aviation as well, and we have also 15% of activity in the PPP concession O&M projects. It means that we are investing in PPPs in road, rail, airports. Investing, designing, and also operating them. So you can see that we are operating more than, I don't see here, but we have about 50 companies in road operation, more than 20 in airports, and so on. Here, I will just skip this one because I already told you that we have a very large services in engineering. This one is interesting because it shows that Aegis is taking part of the full entire value chain of a project, from the very beginning at the consulting stage, project structuring, investment, engineering, turnkey, operation and maintenance, and of course asset management of this infrastructure assets. So it's very important to show you that we are at every stage of the project. Coming to the panel subject, yes, Central Asia is a very important region for us. I am in charge of the development of this region for Aegis, and this is my colleagues told you about, and I think that I will just go briefly on that. The development of transportation infrastructure. Mario told you a lot about aviation, but I think that rail, road, ports and logistics centers are also very important, and we can see that this Trans-Caspian corridor is full of such a projects, and we are following closely. The European Union works on that as French company. So what I would like to emphasize here maybe is the key success indicator for such a projects from a private sector perspective. What is important for us to take part in such a project is first the strong stakeholder commitment. I mean the government commitment, and I would like to thank here Mr. Vice Minister, because we see that in Uzbekistan this commitment is really on the floor, and we can see that in every area, every sector. So the strong commitment of the government, not only the government, of course, the client, but also end users, suppliers, local communities, etc. This is very important. The second indicator is comprehensive and large feasibility studies, not only technical studies, feasibility studies, but also economical and financial feasibilities, legal, regulatory feasibilities, and of course, especially environmental and social feasibilities. I put here the contractual model to be used. The support from international financial institutions is key. I mean, we talked, the European Investment Bank is very key also in that regard. For us, it is very important to have the IFIs from the very beginning of such a project to show us and to prove us the feasibility, the viability of the project. So this is the main indicator for us, for the private sector, to enter a project or not. And the last, this is the contractual model to be used. I am working for the group Aegis, but I am specialized in PPP concession projects, especially in road and rail. So the contractual model to be used is also a key here to from the beginning to see what is expected from the private sector here is important. I would say that in terms of PPP, yes, there are very successful examples in Uzbekistan, and we are also waiting for the PPP roads, especially. I mean, as Aegis, we are closely working hard on it on the Tashkent-Andijan PPP road, which will be the first one. Here, so the PPP model and the PPP model is for us is a very, how to say, maybe one of the, no, I would not say the appropriate one, but could be one of the success story also in road and rail projects in this region.
Thank you very much, dear Kadri. I think we are right now having our panel since 1 hour, and our organizers are, let's say, pushing us a little bit. But I would like to do one thing. Maybe we can ask one question from the audience. Is it okay, Sevara? Okay, one question. No questions. Okay, in this case, we will go and develop our corridor to the corridor of friendship and prosperity. Thank you very much. Katar Ahmad. Dear participants, dear speakers, we need to make a picture, a common photo.